Yo, what's poppin', my Zigified fam? We're back with a new video. And today I'm gonna go into shortcuts that you need to know in FL Studio. You could also call them hotkeys. I really don't know what the proper term is for them, but I think in the manual they're called shortcuts. So this first one is extremely basic, but if you don't know it, it'll be kind of life-changing. So let's say I got this drum pattern here, and say I'm just looking for the perfect hi-hat sound because this one sucks. Not saying this one does suck, I'm just giving it theoretical. If you have these buttons on your mouse, like these side buttons right here, and if you go in the browser, you can press them to go up and down to choose different samples. This is literally game-changing. This is literally game-changing. Okay, this next one is pretty basic, but it's in the piano roll. And say I have this 2-bar melody. If I want to quickly duplicate this and make it longer, Control drag to select the portion of 2 bars, and then do Control B. And now we have a 4-bar loop, and we can make alterations to it to make it slightly different. This also works in the playlist, by the way. You could press Control B to quickly duplicate pretty much anything. And yeah, I feel like this is important to include because a lot of people will do like Control C. If you press Control V, it doesn't do what you probably want it to do. It doesn't duplicate it like Control B does. Okay, this next example is kind of like a 2-in-1. So say I want to add hi-hats to this. I obviously go to fill each 2 steps. I feel like everyone knows that. Let me change the drum samples out, by the way. I don't really mess with these that much. Okay, so the first one that you gotta know is that you can make all the notes like full length in here by just doing Control L, and that'll make the notes as long as possible without going into each other, and I feel like that's pretty helpful, especially for the next tip, which is that say I want to add hi-hat rolls. Say I want one here, you could just do Alt-U, and it opens this little slicer, I guess I call it chopper. And it's just like the easiest way to just instantly do something like that. Like, so easy. Okay, for these next 2 hotkeys, I got this simple melody that I just made in literally like 30 seconds, just as an example. So say I kind of want to make the chords more realistic. I could select them and do Alt-S, and that opens the Strumizer. I guess that's what it's called. And what it does is pretty obvious. It makes the notes strummed, obviously. They have a delay hitting off of each other. And the next step to make it slightly more realistic is to do Alt and R. And here you could randomize the levels. And you can mess with the velocity. You could use bipolar or not. I normally just like to make it go down. So now I've made that melody slightly more humanized. Okay, for this next example, let's say I have this 808 pattern. And let's say I want to quickly add a kick to it. So I'm going to copy this, go into my kick, paste it, and here's where the sauce comes in. I'm going to press Alt-K. Make sure all your options look like how this looks, where it's selected only one key, which is C. And hit accept. This will literally move all the notes onto C, which is exactly what you want to do if you're using a kick over an 808. And let's say for some reason I wanted to reverse the MIDI of this melody. You could do so by pressing Alt-Y. And you might want to turn off preserve start times. In my case, I do. And you can either flip it horizontally or vertically. I feel like horizontally makes a lot more sense. Actually, mess how that sounds reversed. Sounds pretty cool. Okay, this one is a playlist related one, but say I want to quickly render out an area of the playlist. You could do so by pressing Ctrl Alt C, then click Start, and boom. Now you could do whatever you want with this file. You could like pitch it, reverse it. Yeah, that one's really helpful. Okay, this one's kind of like one of my favorite things. If like you're struggling to make a melody, you could press Alt R, and instead of the levels thing that I looked at earlier, you click pattern, and it'll literally like randomize the notes for you, and you could choose a scale and everything. I don't know, it might inspire you, it might not. It works best with pads. Like if you go through this long enough, you could definitely find something that is kind of inspiring and you could probably use to make a real melody. But yeah, nonetheless, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Those are like the essentials that you pretty much gotta know, or else you're missing out. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. I don't gotta tell you.